to the Thought Snob Podcast. I'm Paula Swope. Let's get snobby. Today's topic is how to handle difficult family members during the holidays. I'm going to give you some examples to help you decide whether the situation is petty or a real problem, because I'm guessing that some of you are dreading being around certain family members. I'm also going to go over some solid strategies for handling these folks so they think twice before messing with you. So if you have toxic family members, this episode will help you immensely, possibly a game changer. But if you have a loving, supportive family, none of what I say will resonate. So every day of the week should be joyful and stress-free. That's how life should be. And it could be. But let's be honest. Human beings complicate everything. Just go around creating problems, making meaning out of stuff. The holidays should be joyful, but unfortunately, they're not always joyful. It's not uncommon for people to gather once a year with family. They avoid the other 364 days out of the year. And it's like, why bother with doing that? You can't sustain a healthy connection like that. And you put yourself through hell to be around people who trigger you because, hey, family always gets together for the holidays because, it's tradition. No. If it causes you emotional or psychological distress, that tradition is useless. Real, authentic relationships survive year-round. Even if you don't see someone during the holidays, genuine love survives. But seeing someone once per year, that's a superficial relationship. And this episode is for the people who are, who are torn, the people who dread going home. If you're listening instead of watching, I've got home in, quotation marks here. This is for the people who dread going home for the holidays. If you have a wonderful, healthy family who loves and supports you unconditionally, this episode probably won't resonate. But if your family is toxic, let's talk about some ways to protect yourself, okay? First, everyone's situation is different, but patterns don't lie. If you feel fine in your everyday life but fall apart emotionally the minute you get around certain family members, then your situation is not unique. It's the same dynamic every single person experiences when they force themselves to endure abuse out of obligation. The Bible says, honor thy father and mother. I say, honor who honors you. Respect should be earned. Access to your energy should be earned. And if someone disrespects you, it doesn't magically become acceptable because you share DNA. Continuing to take disrespect solves nothing. It actually creates more problems. Now think about it. When you go around someone who destroys your mood every single time, do you ever walk away feeling better? If the answer is a hard no, then the relationship needs to subside, period. Before the holidays, ask yourself, is this pettiness or is this a real problem? And here's what I mean. Here's an example of pettiness, okay? You host Christmas and you got a new haircut a few days before Christmas, and everybody shows up for Christmas, but nobody acknowledges your hair. No one compliments you on it, and you get pissed off about it, okay? Because you expected everybody to be like, "Oh, I love your hair," and they didn't do that. Okay, that's not a real problem. That's just that's your ego wanting attention. Here's an example of a real problem. You host Christmas. You cook all the food. You serve everyone. You clean up. No one thanks you. No one helps you. Then your brother gets shit-faced pulls out a gun and fires it inside of your house for fun. And you get upset. You tell everyone to leave. And they accuse you of ruining Christmas. That's a real problem. Are those extreme examples? Sure, but they demonstrate the difference between what needs to be addressed and what doesn't. Okay? So, second, you already know who will trigger you. You know who they are, right? Prepare for those people. I mean, let's not pretend the people who insult you, trigger you, and make you want to punch them in the face, the ones that bring the worst out of you, the ones that make you have the worst thoughts ever, those people, they run the same damn old playbook every year. These people do not get a new game. Same insults, same jokes, same passive-aggressive nonsense. So identify these people ahead of time. Envision the scenario. It's probably going to unfold exactly like it did last year and the year before that and the year before that. So here's your power right here. The only control they have is your reaction. So ask yourself, how have you empowered them in the past? Have you cried, argued, defended yourself, let them steal your peace? Whatever your reaction was, prepare to have no reaction this time. This only requires mindful awareness. When you don't feed their ego with emotional responses, they feel threatened, like their egos grow like a weed. I mean, they get mad. But if you remain cool, calm, and collected, oh, you win. You take your power back. And eventually, they'll move on to someone who gives them the reaction they're craving. Because that's what they want. Don't give it to them. Third, don't set expectations for people who consistently disappoint you. It's insanity to expect emotionally mature behavior from someone who has disappointed you 10 times in a row. Another person's behavior is completely out of your control. The only person you can control is you. And controlling your emotions takes emotional intelligence and mindful awareness, but it's 100% possible. Those two things can be learned and cultivated. Fourth, political baiting at the holidays or at the dinner table or whenever. My hairdresser told me last week that her family, they're anticipating a pretty big fight this year at Christmas because of politics. Everybody's so divided right now. And here's the truth. Debating someone is a complete waste of time. You're not going to change their mind. They're not going to admit they're wrong. It doesn't matter what you say, what facts you present. You can't do it. So if you know that your notoriously mouthy cousin Johnny is MAGA and you're on the far left of things, prepare for what he might say to you. Or switch the roles. Maybe it's your self-righteous Aunt Tammy who worships Bernie Sanders and loves to, lecture you about whatever. Either way, have your comeback ready. Here's one that works beautifully. Johnny comes in, he insults you, whatever Johnny says, he insults you. You look at Johnny and you say, Johnny, are you okay today? You seem a little off. You say it calmly, hold eye contact, then stop talking. Johnny's going to fumble. He's going to get uncomfortable. He's going to get pissed off at you. Because people like this are not confident. They're situational bullies. And they're easily outsmarted. Okay? Here's another great response. Somebody insults you, okay? Whatever the situation may be. You look at them, eye contact, very calmly, and say, do you feel better? And they may be like, huh? What? And you just repeat it. Do you feel better? After trying to insult me, do you feel better? Then shut up. Just that. Cool, calm, eye contact. And please be sure to act genuinely concerned when you ask that question. Do you feel better? They won't know how to respond. The quieter you are, the more power you have. Remember, the loudest person in the room is the weakest person in the room. Fifth, if you're the one always hosting and being unappreciated, that's a you problem, maybe. If you give and give and give, and people don't appreciate you, and you keep doing it anyway, that's self-sabotage. It could be happening on a subconscious level. Hey, I've done it too, so no judgment here. But you can't play the martyr when you're putting yourself in that position, okay? So, hey, stop doing it. Stop posting and watch how people react. Sometimes that's how God shows you who belongs in your life and who doesn't. A person's reaction tells you everything you need to know about them. Sixth, if you're torn about going to a function where all of your family is going to be at the holidays, and this applies to birthdays and all types of things, not just the holidays. But if you're torn about going, ask yourself one question. If I don't go, will it matter 5 years from now? If the answer is no, choose peace every time. But if you decide to go, and that's okay, you need a strategy, okay? Visualize Aunt Tammy. Think about why she behaves the way she does. What was her childhood like? What trauma is she hiding under that tough exterior? This isn't about excusing behavior. It's about explaining it so you can empathize with the obnoxious ones. Empathy helps you stay emotionally regulated. And if you can't find empathy, that's a huge sign that you need to keep your distance. And you can do that without drama. All you have to say is this: I don't feel well. Tell them you don't feel well. That line came from Alana Higginbotham. She was on my podcast last year. That line works. And it's not a lie. You genuinely don't feel well around these people. Choosing yourself is not selfish. People misunderstand that word. Showing up just to steal energy and attention, that's selfish. Protecting your peace is emotional intelligence, and it's necessary. And when you're not there, they can't drag you into anything. I mean, they can, but they're going to have a tougher time doing it if you're not physically there, okay? So finally, look at the facts, not your opinions. Like my whole book, Thought Snob. Snob is an acronym that stands for See New Objective Beliefs. When you can look at the facts, that is going to really, truly put everything into perspective for you. Look at the facts. Take out the opinions, okay? Your brother firing a gun in your house, that's a fact. Has it happened before? Is it likely to happen again? Okay? Let's say your cousin Betty shows up to everything looking completely disheveled, and that irritates you because you think everyone should put forth effort in their appearance on Christmas morning. That's an opinion. Is Cousin Betty hurting anyone? No. So, not a real problem. Remember, you can't control anyone's behavior except your own. Facts versus opinions will reveal your truth every time. Facts will show you the common denominator. And once you identify the core of the problem, you can finally become part of the solution. Prepare, be aware, and don't you dare take any shit. And this is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for being here with me again. If you're loving the Thought Snob podcast, drop a comment, let me know, and please like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you next week.
The Thought Snob Podcast with Paula Swope has been brought to you by Thought Snob Media in association with Special Purpose Studios. All production, mixing, and sound engineering by me, Will Swope. We hope you've enjoyed this podcast. Please take a few seconds to give us 5 stars and leave a review. See you on the next Thought Snob Podcast with Paula Swope.